Our next speaker is Mr. Satyadhar Joshi.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Professor. Good morning. I'm talking about a little different here, less politics, more business.
No, that's it.
So
Is it a published paper?
No, it is not a published paper.
Not a published paper.
Yeah, this is IEEE format because I was preparing it for a client at one time. So.
Okay. No, your ID is also Indo-Israel Research.
Yeah, that's my website.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Moving ahead, I'm going to talk about some of the business aspects here, some of the mentalities, thinking, strategy, and some of the strategies in terms of corporate finance in India and Israel countries. And very less about politics.
No, that is a very, very related problem.
Yeah. So things have changed after 1991 because stances have changed and the politics of the world has changed. There are many things that are common between India and Israel, especially the Hindus and the Jewish philosophies and their approach. That's a separate work as well. I would directly move to the defense industry here. So we are liberalizing our defense industry. Modi has just said that we are going to build in India, and in that we have to work on maturing our companies so that they can learn from what US and Israel are doing, because our model was more based on Soviet, where government was taking care of the defense. But now we have to move into a new dimension where private companies would take over. And when a private company would take over, they would think everything. Okay. They would think everything in terms of profit and business and about the results and about finance in that aspect. So I tried to cover three different dimensions: so US companies, Israeli companies, and Indian companies. So I'll be talking about that. Israel, just a few facts. Israel is the second largest exporter of arms to India after Soviet, and the best part about Israel is that it gives a lot of technology transfer scheme. If you might have been reading about the, I think, Gemini scheme, the anti-tank missile, India just cancelled that because of the technology transfer, because US was not transferring the code and the software development and things like that. Okay, this is my projection. Now this is based on the idea that when our economy does well, when our Sensex does well, when our GDP does well, we would be building more in India. So the prediction goes that things would come down and India's import as a percent of its GDP would come down in the coming years. Now I have modeled this in some mathematical aspect. I would skip that is given in my research paper. The three dimensions here, you have the 4 US companies there, the Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon and General Dynamics. We have the Israeli companies here, the Elbit, and Israeli Aerospace is missing, but that's a government company. So one part about that is that Israel has also evolved from government to private part, because a chunk of Israeli defense is being done by IAI, which is their airport, which is heavily government controlled. And Indian companies that would just come into the picture are given in the list. So most of it is Mahindra and Mahindra, quite profit-oriented company. We have Godrej, Tata, Ashok Leyland, everybody there is interested about profit. So when they are going to model a lot of things here, they would look at what's going on in terms of profit. This is a little finance, but what this talks about is which thing is bringing in good multiple for the company or good pricing for the company. So if you can guess that in terms of common sense, US has got the cheapest debt in the world. You might have heard that 1 or 2% is the interest rate there. Whereas we have an interest rate that is around 9 to 10%. So that would mean that the US is better at using debt and we are better at using capex or rather equity part. So that is there. This is a correlation analysis between multiple of a company, how market is pricing the company upon various factors. So if you might observe, this is a bit financial, but what this says is that if you can see the big blocks, the correlation for Israeli companies, they are investing a lot in capex, which is capital expenditure. So that is defining how their prices are going. So if they do more capex, their price increases. For the US companies, since it has matured, the growth is stagnant there. They are trying to sell things to India. I think they are selling most to UAE, I guess, the largest chunk of their sales. So in US, it's more about repurchase, which is returning back to its shareholder, share repurchase. So that's contributing more. And India, it's about capex and debt that is contributing more towards the valuation. Okay. This is a little mathematical. I try to simplify it so that you can understand it. What I have done here is that I have tried to talk about how the valuations are going on. So in a mathematical perspective, if you look at the US companies, they are very good at using the leverage. So an advice to Indian companies would be that if they can make some deals with the US to get cheap debt, I think that's an advantage that we need to learn from them. So when we look at the valuation of US companies, this is called Lockheed Martin, you can see that leverage is the biggest chunk here. So that things comes out in a quantitative aspect as well. When you look at an Israeli company, Elbit, I think this company is selling a lot of drones. I am not sure. I think drones or anti-tank missile, but drones, yes. So here you see they are also poor in using their debt because they are also a developing nation. They are stagnant because a lot of valuation is defined by intercept, which is the constant term in the equation. And their revenue is also stagnant, and they are best in using dragging along with the world, which is the S&P. So in terms, they are also aggressively looking to sell things to us. And that is the reason we are going on the list. Just comparing the scale, we are quite below. You might be aware that US defense budget is around 2 trillion. Our whole economy is around 2 trillion. So in that terms, if you look at the sales number, it's like 36 billion. And if you look at Hindustan Aeronautics, it's just 2.4 billion. We need to work things up in a lot of ways. But while we do that, we need to make sure that our companies are earning profit because profit will drive them. So looking at what they are doing. So I just reiterate the conclusions. The things that we need to learn from Israel is high capex. The thing that we need to learn from US is getting access to cheap debt. The thing that we need to learn from Israel is doing a lot of things at home and being open to technology transfer. And the thing that I guess the US is missing is getting a good deal to the Indians because Indians are very good at bargain. So in that aspect, they need to increase their bargaining skills. I think they lost on the MMRCA deal, then they lost on the anti-tank missile. So a probably good idea would be offering cheap debt and enticing Indian companies for a joint development or something like that, because that is what that defines their multiple and pricing. Yeah, that was all from my side.
One question.
Yep.
When you say that Israel is self-sufficient in production of weaponry, whether it's small arms or howitzers, but still it is buying weaponry from the United States. And
yeah, it is doing joint development, which we are not able to crack the deal. So many of the things that are jointly developed with Israel, the deals are so good that they are selling it to us. So it's the same technology of West that is coming to us through Israel. So If US can get us a better deal, and in terms of finance, because US has got that entrepreneurship skill and Israel also has that. So it's about a policy making. It's about the changing ethic.
For example, the Tabor assault rifle, it is not being used by Israel. M4 is, I think, being used by
Yes.
Israel.
You are with a commerce background?
No, I've done electrical engineering. Then I've done MBA finance.
Correct.
Then I've worked with
MBA finance.
yeah.
I mean, it's like Israel per se is not that manufacturing in country as a whole.
Yes.
You agree? So it is basically into what we call refurbishing.
Yes. In a way, and refurbishing of West.
So whatever have been the defense discards, they were being pumped into Israel and then through the refurbished, whether it is medical equipment like CT scanner, MRI, those are there. And this is how the defense equipments are now also entering into India, and which is why they are cheaper. Second observation, that you were talking about the debt market. You, being a finance expert, you are fully aware that our equity market is matured, but debt market is
Yes.
not there. We have a wholesale debt market, so wholesale is there, retail is
Retail is
still
not.
missing out.
That is the biggest weakness. Yeah.
Right? So that leverage you can avail only if the retail, you and me, start purchasing the debt.
Yes.
Even though globally, whether it is World Bank and others, IFC, they issue only the debt instruments, equity they are not issuing.
Yes.
So that angle should have.
I did not talk about the repurchase is that part. That they are going back on equity
Yeah,
and increasing
that
their
is,
debt.
you see,
That is what-
equity is a permanent capital, debt has to be redeemed.
Yes.
So if you don't have the repaying capacity, or to that an extent generation is not there, how can you expect the debt instruments to be sold in the market?
Yes.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
So simply making a statement that debt should be and we should learn, unless until the infrastructure is created and mentally our behavioral aspect is developed to that extent, to develop that, I think that will be sure. Third point is, you are talking about the lower rate of interest, 0 to 2% in America. This is there in Japan also.
Yes.
But then what about currency fluctuation? Currency market in India is there and trading is being done since 2007.
Yes.
Mr. Joshi, you have done so much of research. We will continue to suffer in the currency market because of time fluctuation. By the time our stock currency market opens, Singapore has or Hong Kong has already taken the position. We lose the So this differentiator will always be there. So unless and until we currency pair by import or export, we are very proactive and our market is open 24/7. Until that time, we will lose on that.
Yes. That's right. They have just opened the USD INR call and put recently in the last 3 years. Before
Yes.
that, the currency trade was not.
But that call and put is there only when the exchange is open.
Yeah.
And
So
by
I-
the time you open your 10 o'clock, Singapore has already taken the position.
Yes.
So whatever call and put option benefit you could have had, they have already taken.
They are only there. Yes. So there is a lot of reform from the political side.
No, it's not. You suggest that our stock, because we are in a position in India to move to P+0.
Yes.
USA is not capable. So at least to P+1 you can. You as a researcher say that we move to this. Our stock, only thing is of logistics. People cannot move at the odd hour. You say flexi time or let them be positioned there. So move to 24/7. So that dollar fluctuation of global impact you will have.
That's right.
Because this thing we had these prices in 85, 88 when for the first time we opened.
Yeah.
But then we could not foresee because that time hedging was there. Today hedging is not there. So you are trading directly. So when you do trading directly, exchange has to open 24/7.
Yes.
My view, suggestion should
Yeah.
have been to that as well. Not straight away saying that rate is it. Rate will be low because they are governed by different sectors.
But if the currency erodes, that benefit would go away.
Yes.
So,
When you are trading it, you have to have a call and put option and you have to take position at the appropriate time. Then only risk mitigation can happen.
and then only we can take advantage of the cheap rate.
Yes. Then only that. I am saying only because you are from finance.
Yeah. I'll add that too.
Thank you. Otherwise, a good research. थोड़ा सा फाइन ट्यूनिंग that area.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Joshi.